Good morning. Today, in Principle of Management under controlling, we are going to learn about cost control and cost reduction. Among in the one of the important part of or function of principle of management is that cost effectiveness and cost control. So until unless you're not curtailing down costs of any production line or any activity, you might have you might face problems dealing with it. Okay, so what you need to do is that you need to understand the cost control. Okay, so like cost control is a process which focus on controlling the total cost through competitive analysis. It is practice which works to maintain the actual cost in accordance with the established forms. It ensures that the cost includes an operation should not go beyond a predetermined cost. Okay, so cost control involves a chain of functions which starts from preparation of budgets in relation to operations, therefore evaluating the actual performance, and next to the compute the variations between the actual cost and the budget cost and you know uh, budgeted cost, and the furthermore to find out that the reasons for the same finally is implemented, the necessary action for correcting the dispensaries, right? So the step in controlling cost is that establishing norms. First of all, we need to establish a norm. The first step to control cost control is to set norms or standard which may serve as a yardstick for measuring the performance. These standards are set on the basis of past performance, adjusted for challenges in future, and on the basis of study conducted. Now, comparisons with actual work, incurred and cost controlled and compared to the established standard cost is known as the level of achievement. The variations are analyzed so as toy arrive to cause a controllable amount. So the correct action or remedial measures are taken to avoid the recurrence of variations in the future. So for revision of standard, wherever necessary it is. Okay, so cost reduction is a process aimed to lowering the unit cost of a particular manufactured or services rendered without affecting its quality by using new and improved method and techniques. It a certain substitute way to reduce the cost of unit. It ensures saving in pre-unit cost and maximate for profit or of the organization. The cost reduction aims at cutting off the unnecessary expense which occur during the production, storing, then selling and distribution of the production. To identify cost reduction, the following are the major elements, that is saving in pre-unit cost, uh, no comparison with the quality of the products, saving are non-volatile, in nature. So key difference between cost control and cost reduction is that activity of maintaining cost as per the established norm is known as cost control, and the activity of decreasing per unit cost by applying new method for production in which in such a way that it does not affect the quality of production is known as cost reduction. The cost control focuses on decreasing the cost, total cost, while cost reduction focuses on decreasing the per unit cost of production. uh, Cost control is a temporary in nature, unlike the cost reduction, which is permanent. Okay. The process of cost control is complete when a specific target is achieved. Conservatively, the process of cost reduction has no viable end at it. It is continuous process that target with eliminating wasteful expenses. Okay. So cost control does not quarantine quality maintenance. However, 100% quality maintenance is assured in case of cost reduction. The cost control is preventive function as to ascertain the cost before it occurs, and cost reduction is corrective action. So cost control is a achievement of predetermined target of cost, and cost reduction is the achievement of real and permanent reduction in cost. Okay. So the cost control trend to assume a static state of affair, and that stands on the set or not challenged, whereas a cost reduction assumes the existence of concealed potential saving in the standard of predetermined cost set for cost control. And that these standards are always subjected to challenges. Cost control is concerned with predetermining cost, comparing with actual cost, analyzing the variance and taking corrective measures. Cost reduction is not concerned with maintenance of performance according to the predetermined target. It is rather concerned with finding out new product design, method, etc. Cost control is a part of cost accounting functions. Cost reduction may be achieved when no cost accounting system is in operation. So cost control lacks dynamic approach or cost improvement, whereas cost reduction is more dynamic approach to cost improvement. Now, comparison chart. Here is a comparison chart. If you can see here, uh, cost control, it's a technique used for maintaining the cost per the set standard, is known as cost control, whereas cost reduction is a technique used to economize the economize the unit cost without lowering the quality of production, is also known as cost reduction. All right. So and then in saving, what it is, it total cost it saves. Cost control is total cost, and cost reduction is per unit saving, per unit how much you are saving or reducing. Retention of quality, there is no guarantee in cost control, there is no guarantee of quality maintenance, but in cost reduction there is a guarantee of cost of the quality of the product basically. So nature, what is the nature? Cost control is a temporary in nature, and cost reduction is a permanent in nature. Then cost control emphasizes the past and present costs, and cost reduction emphasize on present and future cost. Okay. One is past and present, another one is present and future cost. Then there are predetermined targets to achieve. That is, in cost control, it is a predetermined targets that is achieved, and it finishes off one the target means the target is achieved and complete. So, and there is no end in cost reduction. There is no end to the process. Okay. The cost control is a preventive function, whereas cost reduction is a corrective function. Scopes and areas of cost reduction. Okay, so now let's understand about the scopes and areas of cost reduction. Production design, areas in which manufacturers are finding ways to meeting these challenges is the often overlooked area for production design. The design of production provides the greatest scope for cost reduction. There are two basic points that needs to be remembered while affecting the cost reductions in the product design. The production should be performed all of the functions which is it was intended, and the production should retain its esteem and aesthetic values. Like for example, HTC, Sweden, a global flooring system company which whose diamonds are grinding machines. Diamond grinding machines turns ordinary concrete floor into luminous work surface. you know so these luminous work surfaces has use a digital prototyping uh, to cut production and development. So there are approximately 97% of the previous method of building physical models were quite cost, whereas the prototype showed that the product required only 5 of such models with the digitized prototyping. Okay, so this is an example. So you can reduce the product in the production line, and improve in production design can may result in cost reduction. Also illustrate that the material cost change in the design of the product may result in saving the material cost also. Economic situation of an existing material may also be considered into this. For example, in manufacturing kitchen utensils, brass may be substituted with copper alloy. In certain rings and metals may also be substituted with plastics. So labor cost improvement in design may also result in reduction in operating these times. Now factory overhead, reduced labor time will also reduce factory overheads. Packing and transportation, compact designs will reduce the cost, and the cost of tool jigging and fixing and what you call maintenance will also reduce with the change in design. Organization, the cost reduction may also be achieved by improving factory organization in the form of clear cut line of authority and responsibility, well defined channel of communication and coordination and cooperation conductive to the efficacy. uh, Production, then in production, a cost reduction program should take a study of subsequence of operation to find out the best one to use, the most suitable machine for the work, to use the fixtures to reduce the operating time, to reduce the idle time, to reduce the scrap by the use of better quality tool, to provide a better working conditions and conductive efficiency. Then you have administrative, an organization should make effort to reduce the cost of administrative expense. As there is an ample scope to do so, a company may evaluate and reduce the cost of following expense, but not the cost of efficacy. Modification, range of discounts, modifying the internal and external communication, telephone expenses, traveling expenses and salaries, by reducing the staff and reducing the cost of stationery, postage and telegram. Then elimination of subscription and membership can also be part of administrative cost cutting. Then you have marketing cost cutting. In this function, the cost can be reduced by revising the method of remuneration of the salesman, rearrange the territorial responsibility of a sales representative, modifying current method of advertising, improving product design and production quality, so as to reduce after sale services, accompanying the channel of distribution, improving packaging and etc. Finance is an important area where cost reduction is impossible through the following measures: control over utilization of finance that is meant for both working capital and fixable capital needed, proper evaluation of investments in new projects, appropriate control for capital expenditures, profitable employment for capitals with the objective of maximum return. Then tools and techniques of cost reduction and cost control. What are the tools and techniques? The standard costing. Standard costing is one of the permanently used system of cost control. It aims to at establishing the standard of performance and targeting the cost which are to be achieved under a given a setup working condition. It is a predetermined cost which determines that each products are or services should be under certain situations. Now, standard costing is defined as um, preparation and use of standard cost, the comparison with actual cost, and the measurement and analysis of variance to their cause and point of incidences. The standard cost should be obtained under the efficient operations. A standard it starts with an estimate of product should cost, how much it should cost during a future period given. Responsible efficacy and standard cost are established by bringing together the information collected from various sources within the company. The degree of success in is measured by comparison to actual performance and standard performance. Advantages of standard costing: it helps in establishing a yardstick with which it efficacy of performance is measured by the help of a help to exercise control. It provides how to clear goal is to achieve by providing incentives and motives to work. It provides a management and basic information to fix selling price and, and transfer pricing, etc. And it facilitates delegation of authority and fixation of responsibility. It helps in achieving optimum utilization of plant capacity, or the industrial's capacity. It provides means of cost reduction. Variance analysis and reporting is helpful for taking corrective measures in these areas. Limitations of standard costing. Application of standard costing quite difficult in practice. Frequently standards become rigid over time and do not keep pace with the challenges in conditions. So if standards are outdated, they lose and inaccurate and unreliable, they are more harmful. So why it is harmful? Because it is not reliable and it is not standardized, right? So if standards are outdated and loose, it is not reliable. If this standards set in a higher than responsible areas and act as a discord factors, then there are random factors. It is difficult to explain that variance properly. The standard costing may be found to be suitable and costly in case of firms delineating and non-standard production. It is difficult to distinguish between controllable and non-controllable variance. Setting the standard costing are higher technical and mechanical uh, process. Then you have budgetary control. Budgetary control is a system of controlling costs through preparation of budgets. Budgeting is thus only a part of budgetary control charts, establishment of budgets of each function, department, or organization, comparison of actual performance with the budget on the continuous basis. So analysis of variations of actual performance of the budget performance is known, performance to known reasons, taking suitable remedy actions where were necessary, inverse the budget to view of some changes in conditions. Then objectives of budgetary control is to planning, coordination, communication, motivation, control, and performance elevation. All right, so that is part of budgetary. Now limitations here, while we face during budgetary control, is that budget plan is based on estimation, and the danger of rigidity can also lurk here. So if you become rigid and not flexible, so it will, at the time of where it is required to change, it is not a much space given to it if you have a proper, very tight lined budget. So budgeting is only a tool of management, and opposition form of staff also is part of our limitations here. Like staff can oppose in the tight budget functionary, and expensive techniques can also put you into tight budgetary functions. Inventory controls, like for sale ordinary course of business, uh, defines inventory control as a property held in process of production for sales. Then you have in form of maintenance, supply, and consummate in the process of production. Meaning of the inventory control is the process thereby is investment in material and parts carried in stock and regular within the predetermined limit and set in accordance with the inventory policies. It involves fixation of limits within which inventories is to held, lay down of inventories policies, setting out investment patterns, examining the work inventory policies, and effecting challenges when needed. Techniques of inventory control, that is minimum and maximum plan. Then two bin system. uh, then we have order cycling system, ABC analysis, VED analysis, and inventory overturn or ratio analysis. The production planning control. And production planning is a is a plan for the future production in which the facility needs are determined and arranged. A production planning is made periodically for a specific time period called planning zonation. It can comprise of following activities: uh, determination of required product mix and factories load to satisfy the customer needs, then matching the required level of production for existing the resources, scheduling and choosing the actual work to be start in manufacturing facility, setting up the delivery production order to produce facilities. All right, uh, just hold on. Okay, so taking this forward, In order to develop production plan, the production planner or production planning department needs to work closely together with a marking department and sale department. They can provide a sale forecast or listing of customers order, different types of production methods such as a single item manufacturing, batch of production, mass production, then you have continuous production. They have their own type of production planning. Production planning can be combined with production control, not production planning and production control, or it can be combined with integrated in enterprises. Resource planning and production planning is used in companies in several different industries, including agriculture industry, amusement industry, and so on. Planning process then provides two type of control mechanism, that is feed forward, which is provided on the basis of control at the point of action, and feedback, which is provided on the basis of measuring the effectiveness of control after implementation. The management role is to feed forward a futuristic vision of where the company is going and how it is to get there, and make a clear decision according and directing employees activity. Management also oversee the development of procedure to collect the record and evaluate the give the feedback. Now, standardization and simplification is a process of product analysis through which unnecessary varieties and designs are eliminated. Only a limited number of grades, types, and size of the products are retained. Standardization is the second step after simplification towards in tangible manufacturing, having the selected varieties and guard of products to retain such as much it is manufacturing the details are standardized as possible. Since manufacturing involves a large number of decision from selection of raw materials to process used for finishing, standardization of some of these items reduce unnecessary petition of the work. Use of standard components reduce the inventory cost, ensure the intangibility, and make future maintenance easier. It also reduces component costs, such as since the standard component are manufactured by the mass production method and are cheaper. Selection of standard material ensures physical performance and guarantee future free failure free, in fact, operations. Use of standard method of production enables comparison to be made for standard and actual manufacturing items. The purpose of the standardization is therefore, on one hand, efficacy and the economic in the use of human effort, and on other hand, economy of the material varieties and stock quantities, therefore reducing in the cost and increasing the turnover. Zero-based standardization approach is a very effective technique to reduce number of different parts by standardizing a certain preferred parts. Zero based approach literally starts at zero and adds only what is needed as possessed reducing the part of overwhelming list. An analogous situation would be clean out the most cluttered drawer in a desk. So the purpose or the glove compartment or removing unwanted pieces would take much effort and still not be very effective. So more effective zero based approach should be, empty every time, and add back only the item if it is an essential, where the clutter ends up, and difference in the approach in the drawer, or in the compartment is, rest is all part of the trash. A similar part of reduction of efforts have to work hard to remove the clutter. In the system where zero based approach excludes the clutter from the beginning, the clutter is the unnecessary part, or that is not required. So basically you are, in this part you are removing the unnecessary collection, or gathering of the equipments and resources. You are just utilizing what it is needed and how much it is needed. So that is zero based cost control. Now, cost saving from a standardization is like purchasing leverages and being able to order large quantity of standard parts. Okay, lowering the material over head, that has far less material overhead to procure the standard part and material in which are more common and more readily available and have more resources. So spontaneous resupply is possible. Many cost can be reduced by arranging spontaneous resupply of parts and material instead of more expensive forecast based purchases in order to holding the inventories. Now, standardization benefits, that's cost reduction, purchasing cost reduce through purchasing leverages, inventory cost reduction, floor space reduction. Then you have market price, ordering expense in, and avoid when common parts are simply drawn as a need for the spontaneous resupply. So overhead cost reduction is then again dealing with quality, productive quality, product quality, continuous improvement, and vendor reduction is there. For flexibility, estimation step up inventory reduction, simply supply chain management and internal material logistic, flexible manufacturing and responsive, build to order parts, available quicker delivery for a vendor, and all these things are part of flexibility. Now, operational research and statistical techniques are also implemented. That is, operational research approach is to particularly use in balancing the conflicts between where there are are many alternative course of action available to decision makers. In theoretical sense, the optimum decision must be one that is best for the organization as a whole. It is often called as a global optimum, a decision that is best for one or more section of organization. It is usually called as optimum decision and operation reach attempt to resolve the conflicts of interest among the various sections of the organization, and seeks the optimal solution which may not be acceptable to one department but in the interest of organization as a whole. Then you have value analysis approach is cost saving that deals with product design. Again, now, before buying any equipment or material, study is made as to what purpose these things are serving, and how well they are working. All these things are considered, and then they are imparted into the organization. So thus objective over value analysis in the identification of such cost in a product that do not in any manner contributes to its specification of functional values. Thus, it is a process of reducing the cost without sacrificing a predetermined standard of performance. It is supplementary device in addition to conventional cost reduction methods. Now, value analysis is closely related to value engineering. It is very helpful in industries where production is done on a large scale, and in such case, even a fraction of saving in cost would help in perform significantly. Now, automation is is certainly a means of reducing cost. It also reduces human interaction. It is the advance of automatic technique which has changed the face of industries and commerce. The proportion of people working in manual and semi-skilled jobs has been drastically reduced. Automation is the use of automatic control equipment to operate the control mechanism. Automation is being used at an increased speed, spurred by development of large scale integrated circuit printed out into silicon chips. The next stage is to develop the automated control was to use analog computers. It is a machine that designed to produce process the electronical signals. Now these there are three tasks that which can have an automatic equipment which can be used in replacing the human beings, that is measurement, control and data processing. So there are varieties of reasons for introducing automation. Among these are to reduce cost, increase quality, and meet the storage in skilled people. So may come across in having skilled people to for data processing. So we can compensate by having an automated process for data processing, for control and measurements. Job evaluation and merit rating. Job evaluation is the process of analysis assessment of a job to certain their comparative labor worth. Okay, so each job factor is given a relative weightage and is allotted a number of points depending upon its natural requirement of different factors in the performance. A job secure number of points are there. uh, that is merit rating. It is comparative appraisal of individual merit of an employee, and it is qualitative and quantitative assessment of an employee's performance or his personality made by the supervisor or any other competent person at a higher post. Then you have important jobs of elevation like fixation of structure, disclosure anomalies, help in recruitment of new workers, improve labor relations. Uh, then what are the merits here? Important merits of rating is that it helps in asserting the suitability of the workers for the particular job. The objective of achieved by linking merit rating with job evaluation. It helps in asserting and employee merits of grant for promotion and increasement, etc. It helps in introduction system of incentives and wage payment and simplification of the wage structure. It analyzes the workers and affect and brings out the strong points and specialized abilities. Factors taken into account for merit rating is that proposes the quality of work done, quality of work done in initiatives, reliability, integrity and sense of responsibility, cooperation and discipline, sense of judgment, knowledge and skills, punctuality. Each of them above factors are a certain point and employees are ranked in the same order. So like work study is systematic elimination of these method of carrying out activities, such as improve the effective use of resources and step out of standard performance of the activity carried out. A generic term of those technique, particularly method study and work measurement, which are used in examination of human work in all its contexts, in which it leads us systematically to the investigation of all factors which affect the efficacy or and economy of the situation during review and order of a effective improvement. Work study, work study, you have to study that methods of study and work of measurement has to be implemented. Work study concerns with the way in which work is done. Okay. And result is more effective use of material, plants and equipments in manpower. Method study is essential concerned with finding better ways of doing things. It adds value and increase the efficacy by eliminating unnecessary operation, avoidable delay and other forms of waste. Work measurement is applicable for technique designed to establish the time for of a qualified worker to carry out a specific job at a definite level of performance or at a definite rate of working. The technique of work measurement, time study, short cycle, repetitive jobs, sampling, long cycle jobs are predetermined motion of time, standard and manual operations confined to one or other or work centers. So objective is to analyze the present method to of doing a job systematically in order to develop a new and better method to measure the work content of a job by measuring the time required to do the job for a qualified worker, and hence to establish a standard time to increase the productivity by ensuring the best possible use of human, machine and material resources, and to achieve the best quality product services at a minimum possible cost. The benefit is it increases productivity and operational efficacy, reduces manufacturing cost, improves work place layout, better manpower planning and capacity planning, uh, fair wage to employees, better work conditions to employees, improve workflow, reduce material handling cost, provide standards for performing measures at labor efficacy, better industrial relations and employee morals, basis of sound initiative schemes, incentive schemes, and provides a better job satisfaction to the employees. Organization method study is like organizations and define that the systematic elimination of activities in order to improve the effective use of human in order to material resources. Okay, so it is basically to eliminate the activities which is not necessary to have and improve the human efficacy. Now, the services include the following activities, that is organization analysis, activity analysis, information analysis, interviewing, system design, flow charting, and form of design, paperworks, and so on. Quality control refers to those functions or activity that must perform to fill the company's quality objectives. Quality control aims in investigating the root cause of defect, identify by inspection and take corrective action to corrective actions to overcome the defect of the for the future production. Quality control helps minimize the cost of the inspection and rejections. All right, so quality control is an approach to prevent the defect rather than to detect the defect. Okay, so the ultimate aim is to provide a product which are dependable, satisfactory and economical. At the end, I would like to conclude that the two techniques of cost control and cost reduction are used by many manufacturing concerns to diminish the cost of production. The cost reduction has a larger scope than the cost control, as cost reduction is applicable for all the industries, but cost control is applicable only to industries where pre optimization of the cost, which is not yet incurred, is possible. Okay, so the cost control workers works as a roadmap for organization to incur the cost as per the standards. So, on the other hand, cost reduction challenges the established standards by decreasing the cost and increasing the profit. Okay, so this is all for the cost control and cost reduction as a part of management. Okay, so I would request all of you to go to your LMS, take the quiz, and again we will meet you for the next lecture.